Happy to be here today as well and presenting. This is our plant down in Höganäs in southern Sweden. It's been there for a couple of years. What we're doing is actually take the biomass from the left-hand side here. We dry it, we make pyrolysis, and then gasify it and send it to Höganäs, where they substitute natural gas for our renewable syngas in their heating processes. So this is what we do. Company has been around for a couple of years. We've been listed on the First North list since 2013. Began with the idea of making gasification of biomass more efficient and testing in a small scale. First industrial test in 2009, 150 kilowatt, then working with a pilot, first gasifier in 2011. Continued with that, doing some biomethane work, driving cars with homemade methane, and it's actually doable from that good quality of gas we produce. We then started working with Höganäs, first plant, and put it there, and has been there, and we are running for demonstration with Höganäs. And we have had some challenges in this work. It has been longish, and it really takes some efforts in doing this. What we see as the next step is really about the application of the syngas, the gasified biomass. And here one can say that hydrogen is of course one interesting thing. And as the last speaker said, the CO2 market, the biogenic CO2 market, makes actually hydrogen from biomass really interesting, because the high value of the CO2 that can be separated and sequestrated really turns that into a very cost-efficient production route. Green power with carbon capture is of course one way of going, but then green natural gas is what does that mean? It means that we produce the raw gas for doing that, and then we have a catalytic process to put the atoms together in the right order. We have also been working within steel industry for their carbon demand. They are a big consumer of carbon products, and we have since 2011 produced carbon in different ways for that purpose, which is an integrated part of our processing. We have also been working with methanol. Another way of putting those molecules together to get a valuable product as a fuel, especially for the maritime sector, and this is typically Norway. Green diesel and jet fuel is also, we've been working in a project in Norway, a project which is quite an interesting one. We are located here in Kista, outside Stockholm. We have our test plant that is mothballed in Köping, and then our industrial reference in Höganäs. So, what are we doing in Höganäs? We are producing syngas on and off for a demonstration. It's for a reheating furnace. And in parallel, we use some spare capacity to produce biochar. And the biochar we sell as a soil improver and carbon storage. We are working with different engineering assignments for new projects here in Sweden, in Norway, Germany, and also Ireland. We see in Germany we have delivered a 0.5 megawatt gasifier to be started this year. One can also say that the general picture here, the market drive for industrial green solutions is really good. It's booming, and as I've been working with this for a long time, it's like a big difference from when I started. And it's really that the industry is pulling for new solutions for green energy and making their fossil dependence go away. So what we see is that we, by producing syngas, selling that to Höganäs as planned, together with the biochar, we can actually start earning some money in Höganäs. We have the engineering work that we do here in Stockholm with our engineering team, which helps us then to make that part of the company actually earn some money too. And this is a turnaround for us, and it means that we can then start working with new projects, new deliveries. You will hear this, you just heard it, you hear it from me again. The waste biomass is available, and it actually comes to an attractive pricing. You could say that the biomass has been, the last 1.5 years, the prices has increased enormously, twice what it was before, and is actually 2.5 times when we started our operation in Höganäs in 2020. We can say that the energy prices helps us. The CO2 pricing, especially when it comes to the carbon sequestration. The demand is it's enormous. You saw the numbers on the electricity side. When it comes to the industrial demand for steel, for chemicals, for refineries, it's similar, but for each of those industries. So I mean, we can only cover a small portion of that. And then the green transport fuels is of course important part in this. We think that these methanol for the maritime sector is a very good spot to be. About our technology, we have divided a traditional gasification of biomass. So, I mean, fundamentally, we take solid biomass and we, in a thermal process, turn it into gas, clean gas. So we start by drying the biomass, and then we do a slow pyrolysis, meaning that we process the biomass so it becomes like a char, like a barbecue char, you can say. And then we mill that to a very fine powder, and we run it through a reactor here, which runs at 1100 degrees. And we inject steam and the char powder into that, and then we get a very, very pure gas out of this. It's 60% hydrogen, 30% CO, then 1% or so of methane, and the rest being CO2. So this composition with twice as much hydrogen as CO is perfect for catalytic processing, which is it's just a coincidence that this actually happens, but it is very good for us. In the end, we cool the gas down to temperature, and then we can pressurize it or send it further to any process. But the important thing is that the cooling gives us the steam we need for the processing. And what we do to heat is that we heat the process completely indirectly. And indirectly means that we can control the flue gases. We can use the hot flue gases from the gasifier to heat the pyrolysis, and after heating the pyrolysis, it can be used for the drying. So we can be very energy efficient in this as well. And if we look upon this, it means that from the incoming biomass, we get 80% of the energy out in the syngas in the end. And this is actually, with the integrated drying, it's fairly efficient. And we have been in our test plant in Köping. We have tested more than 30 different biomasses, gasified in an efficient way. We have tested in lab scale for reactivity, for drying, pyrolysis, and gasification, more than 300 different biomasses by now. So it's there is when we come to a new case, we can easily find, is this biomass that is chosen for the project, is it viable or not? And usually we have some similar tests done to sort that out quickly. If we look upon this now, the development has been in stages, and our development have been from 0.5 megawatt gasifier to a 6 megawatt gasifier in Höganäs, and then the modular version of this for scaling up. And this is really important to us, because when it comes to using the IP that we have for our continued business, it really that there are so strong demands for this. If we take each point here, the biogas in the EU, 35 billion cubic meters of renewable by 2030. It's actually it's actually more than 10 times what it was in 2022. So it's really aggressive. But you can say that each normal cubic meter has a value of about €1 to get the value of this market. You can say when it comes to methanol, it's really a quick growth for the maritime sector, and it's Maersk is the one pushing this on a global scale. When it comes to green hydrogen, these are ridiculous numbers. A 75-fold increase of the capacity until 2030. Anyone seeing those numbers understands that the growth rate of this is not really realistic. I mean, that is outrageous. But it's a good opportunity, and one can say while electricity needs to be generated somewhere, it needs to be distributed to where you have an electrolyzer. We don't need that. We can build a plant, and we can do that in 18 months to actually have the hydrogen available. And then it's the CO2 sequestration. It's really a market that has come strongly within the last two years, I would say, where the value of the biogenic CO2 for sequestration is high. It's really twice as much as the CO2 emission rights within the EU. The point to this is that it gets to a subsidy for any use of biomass in these industrial applications, because it has such a high value. And yeah, the US Inflation Reduction Act, we will see what happens with that by November. Yeah, the Höganäs project, 6 megawatt plant, 20 years offtake agreement. It means 10,000 tons less CO2 emission for Höganäs at its full capacity. And there is an expansion possibility for us there. So it's a good starting point. But it's also, when we work with new projects, we have this production facility. We have all the operations. We have the possibility to train new operators, new maintenance personnel and engineers. So it's a fantastic thing for us. We use Höganäs is the supplier of our utilities, water, air, compressed air, and so on. Electricity we buy from them. We support the plant with our process experts here from Kista, and then we have all kind of third parties working with us. So we have been producing this clean syngas from the start. We have had our issues when it comes to the availability of the plant, but we think we are on the right path here now to get the numbers right and to start with longer operations. We have implemented a new way of how we work with new projects. We call front-end load project model. The thing about that is to get the whole engineering done before you do the final investment decision. And why is that important? Yeah, it's important because the variability of function, of cost and time for the project will be minimized. We work with projects within just syngas, with biogas or with hydrogen. And the number here, 100 kilograms of hydrogen per ton of dry biomass, is it's a little contradictory because the biomass itself has about 60 kilograms per ton of dry biomass. So it comes from the steam that we add. But this is really world class. We have also been working here in Sweden with a new project together with a company called Nordec for power generation with carbon capture. And the interesting thing about this is really that it's for southern part of Sweden where there is a lack of base load in the electric grid. One can get a decent price for the electricity, but it's actually when the CO2 is sequestrated and we get paid for that, then the business becomes really good. Yeah, and Nordbex themselves have this way of presenting, going from the forest residues, gasification of biomass, electricity generation with gas engines, and the capturing of the CO2. So electricity, some heat, and then the captured CO2, which makes the business case. We've been scaling up and scaling down. This is the biggest one we have been doing. It's 140 megawatts on the left-hand side here for diesel project in Norway. In Germany, it's a small, in the very other end, 0.5 megawatts for hydrogen production. We have working in Ireland for a couple of years for a first biogas methane production facility, and in Norway on the right-hand side for a methanol plant that we did last year, a project called Highwood. So we see the demand for gasification grows quickly, and that because it is an industrial way of changing from fossil to renewable. We see the willingness to go to long-term supply agreements. We have a modular system to work with getting the solutions to the customers. And we are also, since a couple of years, working with some heavy engineering companies, American and European, and it's good for us. It makes us develop. We are a small but knowledgeable team. We are 30 people, 20 people in Höganäs and about 10 in Kista. So this is really what we are, and we are issuing rights right now, a program that will start in April. It's really to guaranteed issuing of units, and there's this makes a little financial engineering, I should say, with a guarantee on the bottom and a top-down underwriting. But you will see more on this on our homepage and on our through our financial advisors and so on. But it's a very good opportunity to come into to the growth of this company. So, thank you very much.
Thank you, Rolf. Very comprehensive. So, if we start at the bottom here with the transaction, what is what is the use of the proceeds? What's the thinking going forward there?
The use of the proceeds, the most important is, of course, to finalize the demonstration in Höganäs and get to a continuous delivery to Höganäs. That's the most important. Then it's about developing further the modular plants ready for the next project, I should say.
And if we look at the timeline, then that's been one of my key questions here. But I mean, looking forward, so when it comes to the projects, what can we expect? 6, 12, 24 months? What do you think?
Our own goal is to have a next project before the end of the year.
So you better get your skates on then.
Yeah, we better do that.
Well, thank you for that, Rolf.
Thank you.
We'll give you a round of applause, and we'll see you later on the panel discussion. Sure.